Recently, we've been discussing Eric Dubay's video in which he claims he can prove that Earth doesn't move. So far, it's been nothing but misunderstanding famous experiments and, of course, getting physics wrong. But in our next look at this, can Eric come back from the brink? No, he can't, but it'll be fun watching anyway, right? Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, Simon Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick update from me about the Simon Dan Book Club. We have just passed 300 founding members. Thank you to everyone who's joined so far. If this is something that interests you as well, the link is in the description. The first box ships in March, where you'll get a book, a science book curated by me, loads of goodies in the box, as well as loads of online goodies too. And in the first box, 10 random copies of the book have been signed by the author. So you may get lucky and bag yourself one of those. But don't worry, if you're a founding member, you will get a bonus founding member gift in the first box. As I said, check it out. The link's in the description or go to simondanbookclub.com. Right then, on with today's video, which is part 3 of looking at Eric Dubay's video where he claims he can prove Earth doesn't move. If you want to look at parts 1 and 2 as well, I'll leave the link for those in the description. But for now, we carry on where we left off. And that is where Eric is about to discuss one of my favourite experiments, Foucault's pendulum. Here we go.
In 1851, French scientist Léon Foucault performed an experiment using a huge pendulum that he believed proved conclusively that the Earth was moving. This experiment was performed in a place that was high enough to support a pendulum bob of 28 kilograms, the length of the wire being 67 meters. This was accommodated inside the Dome of the Pantheon, Paris, and later models were placed in other similar tall buildings. As the pendulum moved relatively slowly, it described a circle and a scattering of sand below. This experiment was declared as absolute proof that the Earth was moving, and is accepted by scientists all over the world as being proof that the Earth moves.
Yes, Foucault's pendulum does indeed prove Earth's rotation. The pendulum swing stays fixed in space, whilst the Earth turns beneath it. This causes the apparent rotation of the swing plane. The rate of that rotation depends on latitude, exactly as predicted and exactly as observed. A stationary Earth cannot reproduce this behaviour without inventing extra forces that somehow know your location. That's why the experiment is accepted. It's simple, repeatable and works everywhere.
The pendulum made one rotation in 31 hours 50 minutes, rotating clockwise. This is 11.3 degrees per hour. The pendulum wire is connected to a ball joint which hangs from the dome of the building. The claim was made that in the northern hemisphere it would rotate clockwise, and in the southern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise. The mathematical modeling is very impressive, along with modern simulations, enough to convince the believer or any interested 19th century onlooker that the Earth indeed does move. The very sight of the use of mathematical formulas is enough to convince most people that it must be a scientific fact and can be proven. This belief is rarely challenged and told in textbooks to young children in schools, and in universities is taught as fact.
The rotation rate of a Foucault's pendulum isn't impressive maths just for show. It's a simple testable prediction. The rate depends only on latitude. It follows a single formula, and pendulums all over the world rotate exactly as predicted. Clockwise in the northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere, and not at all at the equator. You don't have to believe the maths, you can build one and then measure it.
But critics claim that when Foucault's pendulum is examined carefully, it does not prove anything at all, only in the mind of the believers of heliocentricity. Lady Blunt, in The Romance of Science, says, "We believe, with all due deference to the pendulum and its proprietors, that it proves nothing but the craftiness of the inventor, and we can only describe the show and showman as deceptions. A thing so childish as this pendulum proof that it can only be described as one of the most simple and ridiculous attempts to gull the public that has ever been conceived. It has been said that the pendulum experiment proves the rotation of the Earth, but this is quite impossible, for one pendulum turns one way, and sometimes another pendulum turns in the opposite direction. Now we ask, does the Earth rotate in opposite directions of different places at one and the same time? We should like to know. Perhaps the experimenters would kindly enlighten us on this point.
Oh, Lady Blount, the flat earther Lady Blount, that Lady Blount. This objection misunderstands the experiment at a basic level. Foucault's pendulum doesn't show the Earth rotating in opposite directions. It shows the same rotation observed from different latitudes. The direction of precession depends on where you are located on a rotating sphere. This behaviour is precisely predicted, precisely measured, and, as I said, repeatable.
If the Earth were undergoing the terrible motions attributed to it, there would be some sensible effect of such motion. But we neither feel the motion, see it, nor hear it. And how people can stand watching the pendulum vibrate and think that they are seeing proof of the motion of the Earth almost passes comprehension. They are, however, brought up to believe it, and it is thought to be scientific to believe what the astronomers teach.
The pendulum doesn't rely on human sensation or belief. It relies on behaviour that changes predictably with latitude. Calling that indoctrination is just another way of dismissing evidence without engaging with it.
The oscillations are not uniform, but unpredictable, as all pendulums are. They can be in the same plane, backwards and forwards, or describe an elliptical or circular movement. And the pendulum needs to be pushed to start it off. If the Earth is moving, however, it shouldn't need a push at all, since the movement of the Earth is enough to move the pendulum. If this was truly the case, then all pendulums on Earth would be moving due to the inertia of the Earth's movement.
This bit misunderstands inertia. A pendulum must be started because steady motion doesn't create motion, only a change does. Earth's rotation is constant, so it doesn't start making objects swing. Once the pendulum is moving, inertia keeps its swing plane fixed in space, whilst the Earth rotates beneath it. And that is exactly what we observe, to be honest. Irregular motion, ellipses and dampening are well understood mechanical effects of the Foucault's pendulum and are corrected for in real demonstrations. None of this argues against Earth's rotation, by the way. It's exactly what physics predicts.
In 1879, Hake, while studying for his doctorate, discovered that any geometrical imperfection of the system or elasticity in the wire may interfere with the two horizontal modes of oscillation, from linear to elliptical movement, within 1 hour of the pendulum being pushed.
This isn't a problem for Foucault's pendulum. It is a known engineering detail. Small imperfections can introduce elliptical motion, which is why serious demonstrations carefully control suspension, the release, and dampening. Crucially though, these effects do not produce the steady, latitude-dependent rotation of the swing plane. They add noise, they don't create the signal.
Also, if Foucault's pendulum was started, it should continue as long as the Earth continues to spin on its axis or move in its orbit. It does, however, eventually come to a stop. But the Earth never stops moving according to heliocentricity. The stopping, says Foucault, is explained as dampening by the air resistance. So Foucault used an electromagnet, or mechanical device, to keep the pendulum going, which prevented it from stopping altogether. If the Earth was moving the pendulum, then logically it should continue moving, even accounting for friction at the ball and socket joint connection of the connecting wire.
This confuses motion with energy. Earth's rotation does not power the pendulum. It only affects the orientation of its swing once the pendulum is moving. The pendulum stops because of air resistance and friction, which drain energy just like with any other moving object. The electromagnet doesn't fake the result. It simply replaces lost energy so the experiment can run for longer.
Also, the pendulum is located in different positions on the Earth. The closer they come towards the north and south poles, the gravitational acceleration becomes diminished as the rotation of the Earth on the axis. What would be the behavior of the pendulum on the equator? Foucault's pendulum is no proof at all. But to a crowd of believers desperate to confirm the Earth moves, it must have been impressive. So much so, there are replicas all over the world in buildings with high enough towers.
Gravity does change slightly with latitude, but that affects how fast a pendulum swings, not whether or not its swing plane rotates. Foucault's prediction is clear. At the equator, the precession is 0, and that's exactly what's observed. Towards the pole, the rotation rate increases, exactly as measured. Replicas exist because the result is repeatable and predictable, not because people are desperate to believe. A stationary Earth model still cannot reproduce this behaviour without, of course, inventing extra forces. So when you strip away all the rhetoric from Eric here, the Foucault pendulum isn't about beliefs or crowds or impressive buildings. It is a simple, mechanical system that behaves exactly as a rotating Earth predicts and never as a stationary Earth one does. Dampening, imperfections, latitudes and starting the pendulum are all understood and accounted for. They don't erase the signal, they sit on top of it. You don't have to feel the Earth move and you don't have to trust the authority. You can build the experiment yourself, measure it and watch the ground rotate beneath it. And that has given me an idea. Watch this space Eratosthenes experiment, people. And that is where we're going to wrap up today's video for another day. Please do let me know in the comments below what you thought of this section of Eric's video. As I say, we're all done and dusted for another one. We've probably got enough footage to do one more video next week. Thanks so much for watching today as ever. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the thumbs up button too. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day and I'll see you tomorrow for the return of Lord Jamar, who is a flat earther. See you then.